Hi, I'm Maya.
Hi, I'm Maddie.
I'm Anastasia, and we are YLAG, working in the community in hopes to make a difference. Today we have our guest,
Joshua Booth. I am at Meadowdale High School representing the males of color. Without them, I wouldn't be here today.
All right. Today we will be talking about how music in 2023 is affecting the youth. So the first question is, how's the rise of streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple Music impacted the way that people discover and consume music?
I feel like when we have Spotify, like nowadays compared to how it was earlier, like it's more accessible. Like everybody can get on Spotify and you can listen to like whatever you want. So, I mean, that's a good thing, but it could also be a bad thing, I guess, depending on like your age and like what you're listening to, because I don't know, music is like the way you listen to music is kind of how you are. I feel like sometimes maybe that's just me, but I feel like you kind of listen to music that like is similar to yourself. So I feel like people with a genre of music is kind of just how they are.
Yeah. I think it also affects the impactfulness and quality of the music. Like, because you don't have to buy a whole album before you listen to each song in the album, I think that artists make songs specifically to go popular. So specifically songs that they'll put on TikTok and they'll know it's popular.
Like dance to it.
Yeah, in the past you couldn't do that. It was like all on the album, and then people picked their faves after the album came out. But you don't have the singles, and then they release the album, and then it's like, I don't know. I think it's like that. So.
I mean, kind of like what Maya said. I mean, with it being so easy to access, even teachers help teenagers stay focused with that music, and they can really get their work done. You know, get away from bad habits, whatever it may be. You know, they could use music as that way to cope with their feelings. You know, because like she said, a lot of people go through trauma, whatever it may be, and they look at music as an escape. You know, whether it's escape from reality or anything else. So I believe it's really a good thing that we have music around, and we're not doing other bad habits and bad things to influence our peers around us.
Like kind of like how you said, music can be used as a calming thing. Kind of, it can be used as both as like something to get ready, something like get you hyped up, but it can also be used something like calm you down and like make you stable. Because I know some people listen to music like when they're doing work, because they're like, it just calms and like makes you focus on one thing.
I think music is therapy. Like, I love music.
Especially
love all
with
types
headphones.
of music.
That's good.
So specifically talking about how it's impacting our youth, today we have artists like Sexy Red, Megan Thee Stallion, and people like that. Their type of music is kind of vulgar. So how do y'all feel about that? How do y'all think it's affecting young people on social media and things of that nature?
I don't really be on social media like that, but TikTok, nor do I have Spotify or Apple Music, but I know that they're all apps that are personable. They recommend music to you, and they'll recommend like videos to you and stuff like that. So if you're listening to something or you like a video, it'll recommend more things that are like that. And it's not very good at filtering like the age or having a lot of guidelines that, you know, will go against certain things. They're not really good at filtering that type of stuff. So it's hard to like, you know what everybody's looking at or listening to like all the time, especially when it's playing on the radio. So
especially with the amount of platforms that we have, it spreads like wildfire out here. I mean, it can be on, you know, the internet, whether that's social media we normally scroll on, or even on TV when it gets so out of hand that even the news has to talk about it.
Yeah, I've seen like radio stations talk about a certain song and they kind of like go over what they feel about what's in the song. Like, especially I feel like the songs, they might sound good, but when you actually like listen to and understand what the lyrics are saying, it has like a completely different meaning than how it sounds.
Yeah, like I heard my little sister listening to Sexy Red, and I was like,
I think I heard somebody talking about that it's the artist's fault, but I really don't think it's the artist's fault. I think it's up to the parents to restrict their children. Because back in I don't know, because it could be, it's a little bit on the artists as well, because they're just more direct. Like, back in the day, you didn't know what they were talking about. It's like you couldn't even tell that they were talking about that type of stuff. Right, like just the words. I think it's the word choices, like,
and the meaning
maybe going crazy.
So it really comes down to like lyrical and vibe music, you know? Like it really comes down to breaking down each song and category that it has. Because like you said, you know, once you listen to a song, it can be a good vibe, but once you actually break down the lyrics, it has a whole new meaning behind it. So we really need to watch out what we're saying. I mean, whether you believe in manifestation or whatever you're saying, and your mind starts to believe it. So if you start saying it and, you know, it's stuck in your head, you start saying it out loud around your peers, they're going to be like, oh, that's catchy. What song is that?
And then
you
people
know?
repeat it over and
Exactly. And then just like social media, it spreads like wildfire, influencing other people around us, and they don't even know how it originated.
Yeah, and that like saying could be like everybody's daily, something somebody says like every single day. Like I feel like that's now with our like generation. Like if you hear something on social media and like sounds good, like you just start saying it.
Yeah.
And then everybody starts saying it, but they don't really know what it means.
That's good. That's a good point. You know, 'cause just because it's catchy, it doesn't have to be good. It just has to be catchy.
Just because I love music so much and I love the artistry of it, and especially instrumentals, like I love jazz music. So it's like when you break apart certain parts of the music, you can tell when somebody just made it for the general public versus when they made it
For it to go viral.
Yes. So it's like, it's so sick. Like, I love Skilla Baby. So he's a trap rapper, kind of. So, he's recently been making music for the girls. So, like, it's certain things that he'll say that hype up women. And I like it, but it just doesn't seem authentic. Like, you can tell he's doing it on purpose now.
I feel like that's what music is now. Like, they just cuss a lot on purpose just so that everybody will like their song. Like, there's not a really good song. I mean, there's good songs without cuss words, but I think every single song now has cuss words in it. Like, you can't be listening to that around your parents because my parents be like, oh, turn it off because that's cuss word in it.
Right.
I wanted to talk about, like, kind of what you said, Anna, about artists and the way that they express themselves. And I wanted to know how you guys feel about, do famous people get a buy on their behavior or provocativeness because they're famous? Like, I saw something, and it was in social media, and it was talking about people and shame factors and why people don't really feel shameful anymore. Like, I feel like that's almost a characteristic that shouldn't be denied from yourself. You should embrace it because you should have shame in certain ways, and like, you know, how you present yourself, it matters, especially first impressions. A lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah, I feel like now when people get famous, they kind of fit into the stereotype of, like, say you like rap, they do rap music. When you start to get more popular in a rap, you start to act like more rappers and like kind of lose yourself as a person, and you kind of turn into like what you're singing.
Yeah. Drake.
He used to be so good.
It's so like, ew,
Like,
why are you...
We were talking about
And
this
I
in
love
class
Drake.
the other day. We were talking about old Drake versus like new Drake. Like, his old songs are like slow and they're good and they're like, the words mean sense. Now he's just saying gibberish. Like, he's just
talking.
Like, why
he's
would you
just
have
talking
a
to be
child
talking.
hop on a beat like that?
Okay, I like that song though, Daylight, like, or whatever. I like that, but his little kid is literally saying nothing. Like, he's just talking about whatever. Like, he just keeps saying the same thing over. But I feel like when you get more famous and you kind of like, you start rapping and you start getting like more popular with people, you kind of just, you lose yourself in like what you first started music for. You know what I'm saying? Because that's like the kind of the difference between old Drake and new Drake. I mean, he's still good.
Yeah.
But his music is definitely like the meaning behind his music and like what he's saying is he's just now talking, just be talking.
Yeah, I think most mainstream music is losing its meaning. Like, people are just saying things that are catchy. And that's why I try to listen to underground music, because people underground, they don't care about going popular on social media. Like, they just care about the craft of just making music because they love making music.
They're more lyrical.
Yep.
So you can understand what they're saying, and sometimes they got a good meaning behind it.
That's why I still like Cole. Like, Cole, Kendrick, all them, they haven't changed
Cole is
to
good.
make a, what's it called, a chorus that'll go popular on TikTok. Like, they don't do that. They don't release music that does that. And I really mess with that.
Yeah, their like song always has a meaning behind it. It's not like, that's what makes me mad is when you're listening to a song and it sounds good, but it makes no sense what they're saying at all because they're just talking.
And that's why we like some of those older school rappers, because not only are they a good artist, but they're a good person as well. You could really relate to them, because even with all the money that they, you know, gain, they don't even change up their style because they're still real with what they are.
I put, for one of my topics, I put how has music changed from like our generation compared to our parents' generation. I know we talked a little bit about this, but kind of like what you said, like when the music had a meaning behind it. I feel like especially with like love songs, I feel like back when it was older, they had like, it was really good stuff. Like, it made sense and it was about an actual story. And now they don't talk about falling in love. They just talking about like doing things and like not actually focusing on the good part of the song. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
And I think newer music is so disrespectful.
Yeah.
They're
Like,
just like
oh my
disrespectful for like I think it goes both ways now. Like both women and men, they're just disrespecting each other. Like it's not, it's no respect either way at all.
I feel like music is really a reflection, not even how you view yourself, but like
How you view others.
how you view others as well. Because you sit there listen to a song calling like females the B word and calling you out your name and you rapping it, like, you know what I mean, you chilling, you listening to it, but you believe that, you know, like you're
And
not
then
just
that's
listening to it every day for no
naturally-
reason.
And that's why people start treating people like that,
Yeah.
because that's what they hear all the time.
Or even if it's like a song about relationships or anything like that, you will allow yourself to be treated like that because you're just used to that. It's your environment. Like you can control your environment at times. So a song or like even sad music, like putting yourself in that kind of mood can be like it's inevitable sometimes, but at the same time you can control that. So.
Right. And kind of like what you said about like men calling women the B word as well, and then you have those women artists that retaliate,
Yeah.
and you know it's a bad look on other people because it's not just music anymore. It's like you guys are arguing over the net, and it's not good for us because that's our environment, like you said earlier.
And kind of like that, now guys are going around calling the girls like, oh, that's my B word, like that's my.
Yes, like
And
what
then
happened
they-
to my lady?
And then, and then everybody's just okay with it because that's just what they listen to. Like, there's that's so disrespectful, and like everybody's just okay with that now because that's just what they hear all the time.
So to go back to your question, I think that people like Ice Spice, I know that Megan Thee Stallion, I think she's been in an interview and she spoke about how she just feels free in her sexuality. But I think that you can be free in your sexuality and not put it out there.
Yeah.
Like, you can be personally free in your sexuality. Why are you walking outside in them clothes? And it's like, I love it. I love me some Megan. Like, they outfits be cute. But it's like,
It's a little questionable. I know because I've listened to SZA for a long time. I even went to a SZA concert and everything, and I love SZA to death. But would you look at like the bottom of her Instagram compared to her Instagram now, especially when she's got collabs with like Drake and people like that. Now she's starting to just like actually not wear clothes. Like she's not just because of that, but like her personality, like as a person, is changing. She's changing the way her music is, sort of like she's in songs that are like rapping and cussing and talking about bad things about that, compared to like how her music was in her earlier albums, I feel like.
And it's not just lyrics nowadays either. I mean, as we're evolving into this new music career, it's also videos. I mean, you guys have been talking about
Especially
how
music videos.
right, like you guys have been talking about the fashion statements that they're wearing now, and they also implement that and do certain things in that music video. That's just bad for us to see. I mean,
And I feel like it has nothing to do with the song at all.
it most definitely does. You know?
thank you.
Like,
Like, back in the day, you know, like, I like Johnny Gill. I can't think of the name of the song, but it was a video to it. And, you know, back in the day, they always had women in the music videos. And they would be wearing swimsuits or something provocative.
Yeah.
But it's never been to the extent it is now.
where
Like,
like there's,
what's
I feel
going
like
on?
there's no room for imagination, I guess, what people
Right,
say, because
right.
everything's just there. They say every single thing, you see everything, and I feel like, what's the point? Like, I really don't watch the music videos to songs
me
because
either.
they make no sense at all.
Not anymore.
Like,
Yeah.
they really just don't make sense. They're just doing stuff just to be doing stuff.
Yeah, like when I was younger, I used to be so excited when people would release their music videos, and now it's like, I'm good. Let me
I used to
just
like the Megan Trainor music videos. Those are my
Yeah,
favorite
yeah.
things. Because they used to be dancing. Like, people would actually do
Yeah,
dancing, and now,
yeah.
like, they're not dancing.
I do too. But you give another one?
I said, how does music help young people deal with challenges? I feel like we kind of talked about this a little bit, but kind of how, like, music can be, like, used for coping. I feel like it kind of helps people express their emotions, sort of
Right.
like that. And it kind of helps them have a social connection. Like, me and you listen to the same kind of music, we have something to talk about. And we kind of, like the same kind of things. And it kind of like how we are now, it has, like, something for conversation. Like, we know these artists, we have something in common, and we know things about these artists. So I feel like kind of the way you listen to music and, like, what kind of music you listen to kind of brings you together through people.
Well, do we all have TikTok?
And that's good too because you know you guys just made a new friendship off of music. You know, like
Yeah.
it's something so simple and we don't realize it. But that small connection, that small comparison, like who knows? You guys might have been dealing with the same problem as well, and that's why you guys really related to each other. You know, had a similar taste in music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love how people can speak about their problems through music. They've always done that. Like, The Message by Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5 back then. And then now we have J. Cole and his music, sometimes it speaks about,
J.
you know,
Cole's
the challenges
good.
going around. I love me some J. Cole. But challenges that's going on in the community and in the world in general. So I think that it really matters on what you surround yourself with. So because TikTok is so full of those, I want to say bad songs because I love some of those songs.
Yeah, they
But it's
sound
like,
good, but the stuff that they're saying.
Right. So it's like, I think that because that's pushed so much, we kind of forget about, there's still underground artists who still are making good music and meaningful music, but it's just pushed to the back because of all this just craziness.
Yeah, like when you're with your friends and they say play something, you don't want to listen to anything slow. You want to listen to you want to listen to Drake. You want to listen to something that's just like, I don't know. I feel like the music has just changed a lot compared to how it used to.
Because it's not popular, you know. They're not looking for that anymore. They're just looking for things that other people and their other friends have already heard of. So
That's just like
why
viral. Like something that you just hear all the time. You just want to listen to that.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's who you surround yourself with as well. That's why music means so much to me, and I think it's the type of music someone listens to says a lot about them, in my opinion. And some people like, girl, no, it doesn't. But it's like, it really does to me. It's that important to me. And I really think I try to surround myself with people who listen to the same type of music as I do. Like, especially people who listen to old school music, like, I immediately click with them because it's like, you the vibe for real.
Yeah, that's like I'm saying, like, you're expressing your emotions like that because that's just how you are, because what you listen to.
Right.
I feel like, especially like what you were saying, like that, when you share an AirPod with your person, I do that with my friends all the time. And my friend might be playing something I don't listen to, and I'm like, okay, no, I will listen to my own music.
Right.
But I know there's one friend and I, we have the same playlist, and we listen to that playlist all the time because we like the same songs. And I feel like when you find someone that likes the same kind of music as you,
It's a connection.
It's a connection, because then you'll be like, oh, you heard this new album, like something, you guys have a lot in common.
Right.
I feel like the normalities, like in 2023, like the way parents parent their kids and just the access that we have to everything. There wasn't internet and Spotify or, like, you know, a bunch of social media platforms like 25 years ago. So of course everything's going to be different, and like kids are growing up different, we're growing up different. So I feel like we're exposed to a lot more, and it's not always necessarily bad, but if you have a parent that's there to intervene, then I feel like it's important to, because why would you want to expose your kid to something that, you know, somebody that they idolize, or even they look at and they think that it's cool or pretty, or they like the way the music sounds. They don't understand it though, but they're going to continue to hear that and pick up on that, because we are easily influenced. I think that's what Josh was talking about earlier.
For sure, because it's catchy, and if we think it's cool and our other friends like it, then we're going to tend to do it. I mean, regardless of our morals and character, like you guys were talking about earlier, because, you know, they start making music and they just get drifted off into that stereotype, and then they start to do it and then they lose themselves. And that's the same thing with the audience as well. I mean, they think it's cool, they're listening to it, and then they lose themselves. And it's just, it's a very dangerous thing to really fall into.
And I do think it's harder for parents to solicit the music that the kids listen to, because it's so out there, it's so popular that, you know, you don't want your kid to feel secluded, you know, not know what they're talking about, what people in general are talking about. So it's like, I think it probably is hard for parents, but at the same time, your kid should not know the words to a Sexy Red.
I feel like they're just singing it, but they still don't know what it means, and then you hear it out loud and you're like, what are you saying?
Yeah, like I used to sing the lyrics to Drunken Love by Beyonce, and my mom would get so mad at me, and I had no idea why she was so mad. So at the same time, I mean, kids don't know what it means.
No.
Anyways.
I didn't know what that meant till last year.
Yeah, so it's like kids don't know what that means anyways. But again, I think that's when the artist comes in. Like, if you think of Motivation by Kelly Rowland, like the words, her word choices, you didn't know. I listened to that song recently. I'm like, oh my gosh. But when I was younger, I was just singing it. I didn't know. I had no idea what she was talking about. So it's just, it's really a big gray area. I think it's the responsibility of both the artist and parents.
Yeah.
So.
And the reason we don't realize it is because, like, with it being so catchy, they have melodies and music videos and dances, etc., to disguise their lyrics from what they're actually speaking.
Yeah.
And the whole reason we make music is to really influence our kids, whether it's good or bad, is up to them.
Yeah.
So I definitely agree with you. You know, like, it's definitely the artist's I don't want to say it's their fault, but you know, they should definitely be aware of what they're doing. You know.
I'm gonna have to disagree. I feel like it's not the artist's fault.
Oh, really?
Because I feel like the way that a person who is in the industry of music, like Sexy Red, for example, she was like that before she was Sexy Red. Like before she was out there making songs on stages, twerking, doing whatever she do, having a music video. She was still ratchet. She was still her. She was still being herself, but she was comfortable in her ways. Right. Now, if she was posting on Instagram and she wasn't making money, they probably would be talking about her saying she's a trap star, like she's not cute or she's this or that, but she's famous and she got clout, so of course it's going to be a whole totally different dynamic. But I think it starts at home. Like you have to teach your kids like the morale and just like the knowing right from wrong. Like yeah, you can like I know some people's parents who let their kids cuss, but they still discipline their kids, you know, because it's not necessarily bad. You just need to know right from wrong. Like you can speak about something, but you don't need to be acting on it. You don't need to pick up any of these characteristics of Sexy Red. You can sing her song, you can dance to it, but like feel me, like that's where I think it's up to the kids or the parents. Like
they have to
turn the radio off, switch it. Like I don't know.
They have to have that like grounding, like that. You don't need to act like that. You can listen to it, but you don't need to do what that person's doing.
Right. Okay.
But you gotta have that understanding first.
Yeah, and you saying that makes a lot of sense because you know back in the day they still had Trina and them saying them crazy things and dressing in that provocative way. Yeah. So it makes sense, but it's just I don't know.
It's more like across the board. You know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's like rap music for sure with men was like, you know, like NBA Youngboy and stuff like that. I've seen like a lot of boys that go to my school or just like in general when they start getting into their head and they think that they are NBA Youngboy, they, you know, their whole persona changes though. Like, and it's so crazy to me because how can you really fake and be somebody that you're not? You know, like you didn't grow up like that. You don't tote guns. Like, what are you talking about?
So do you think it's appropriate to like really influence kids like that? Because you were talking about how it's not really the artist's fault, it's the people that listen to it.
I mean, it's more so of like a teaching moment, you know? Like, you know, kids play violent video games. Artists sing violent songs or provocative songs. You can't really, like you said, filter it all, but it all starts at home. Like, your home is your sanctuary. You can't control what's going on in the outside world at every point in time, but your parents will teach you things that are right or wrong and set an example for you. So if you don't see your mom being a floozy or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like out here and your dad setting a good example, or you know what I mean? You're going to school, you surround yourself with people that set a good example for you, because just because you have good, like, you know, the same music taste as somebody else, it don't mean that they still have the same intention while listening to the same song as you, you know? They could really be like feeling it, like, you know, like you said, you listen to Skilla, but somebody else could listen to Skilla and their whole playlist is, you know, Skilla. And it's like, oh, maybe we don't have a lot in common, but you wouldn't know that unless you really got to know somebody. But
it's kind of like how you take it in.
Yeah, how you take it in, basically. Yeah.
I think it's so much of it, too. Like, back in the day, when you did have those, that's not even that back in the day, but when you did have those rappers like Trina and them, it was, you had her group, and then you had the R&B girlies who would dress a different type of way, and they would, you know, be more of the norm. So it's like we don't have those relatable people anymore for the people who are just normal. You know, everybody who's popular, everybody who's who now, they're the guys. They got a lot of money, they wear chains, they look that hood thing. And then the girls, that hood princess thing, you know, they dress a certain way and they act a certain way. So it's like, where's the normal people? Like, I don't think artists are relatable anymore, really. Or maybe they are more relatable, but maybe it's a little bit too relatable. Like, maybe we don't need to know about all that.
Yeah, I feel like some people try to relate themselves to artists when you don't have to. Like, I personally try not to idolize, like, famous people too much, because when you really do start to follow somebody's life, or, you know, you treat them like a best friend, or like they're your friend or something like that, you will pick up on some of their characteristics, and it's you know, you can't really prevent that. So in order to prevent that, you just have to separate yourself from the fact that they're just another person. Like, oh, I like your music, but I'm not about to be.
I'm not about to act this way. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
I think it's more younger kids though. When I'm saying all this, I'm thinking about more younger kids. You know, when you're older, you know right from wrong. Come on now. So it's like I'm talking about more younger kids. Like when they see this girl posing with her butt sticking out and her tongue out, they're gonna do that. Because that's what they see all the time. So it's more like, but I think that is up to the parents. So when I'm saying all this, we almost grown. Like,
Yeah.
we know right from wrong, but it's more of the younger kids. They don't. And it is up to the parent to teach them, but it's harder for the parent to teach them when this is all they see.
Yeah.
Especially if their siblings are older and they're not understanding, because then the younger sibling will just pick it up from their older brother or older sister, and then they'll start repeating that. So it doesn't necessarily have to be from the source of music, but it could be a family member that is also doing it.
Yeah.
And it can also be hard for like parents because they don't know everything. Like they don't know, they don't have TikTok, they don't have Instagram, they don't know what like the new latest song is. So it's kind of hard, like especially when you talk about younger kids. Like I'm thinking like, I don't know, like that pre-middle school, like you're about to get into middle school and you see all this stuff and you see all the older kids and you hear what they're listening to and maybe how they dress, trying to act like famous people. It's kind of like younger kids, they have a tendency to just do what they see. So it kind of influences them a little bit, but like also you said, like the parents need to kind of play into that and let their kid like know who you are. Like you don't need to be everything that you see online.
Because the media is totally different today. Like parents, like our parents, they probably weren't told that. Like, yeah, not to be a follower, but when you're being influenced constantly every single day, advertisements, music for sure, like TikTok is so crazy. I've heard songs on there that I've never heard before, and I'm like, ooh, I kind of like this. Add to my playlist, but then I hear songs and it's like it will keep on popping up on my For You page, and I'm like, bro, why did I like that video? I can't get away from it. Like I'm tired. What is it? Blueface.
That song is in my mind every single day.
And then they was just doing a TikTok to that song. But like, it's so crazy. Like you don't have to do much to be seen or be heard, and that's like almost dangerous. I feel like not everybody's voice needs to be heard or their persona needs to be put like on a platform because famous people are idolized. So why would you want somebody who doesn't have good attributes to be a role model for your children or for you? Stop supporting them.
That's what I think. I feel like the whole Blueface song, I was really trying. At first, I didn't even understand what was going on, but like when you listen to the lyrics, and I was like looking up like what it was meaning, what they were even talking about, like what was behind it. I was really confused at first, but like it makes sense. But I feel like what everybody posts, they post like you said, they're posting their whole personal story out there, and you're just letting everybody into your business. And I feel like that's how it kind of goes where people idolize people. They sing about their whole life story. And so then you kind of like, oh, I want to know what happens next. I want to see what Blueface is going to post back or something like that. And then that's kind of how they become famous. And they have to like fit the persona that what they're singing about. They have to act ratchet because they're singing about took his baby or whatever, things like that. So and I feel like that kind of goes like, especially music is like spread. It's not just Spotify. It's on Instagram. It's on Facebook. Music is on everything because that's what people listen to. Like it's not just listening to it with headphones in, but like to the background of videos, you always want to add music. So it just plays a big role in every single thing that we do now.
So to wrap it up, what do you think people our age should do to help the younger kids kind of figure out everything that's going on now? Or how do you think we should help each other more?
Yeah.
I know it sounds really simple, but listen to the lyrics. I mean, even if it is just reading a little bit on it or getting a background check on the artist that you're really paying attention to, because you don't want to listen to this catchy song and then realize this person has been doing bad their whole life. And, because if we idolize them, like you said earlier, so if they're doing bad things in life and we like this catchy song, we might follow in their footsteps. So I say really just pay attention to the lyrics.
Yeah, I think that's good because when you support somebody and you idolize them, like you said, you kind of act like them and you're going along with what they're saying. Like you don't hear what they're saying, but when you listen to the lyrics and you're singing that and you're saying it to everybody, you're going along and you're doing just as they are doing. So it's sort of the same thing.
I always, whenever I listen to music, try to hear like from my own perspective, like however it fits into my situation, especially if I'm trying to really feel the music. But so yeah, just always know that a song was not made for you. Like a song is not made for you. It's a song for everybody, and you're in control of however you want to take that, which it should be a positive takeaway.
So this was a good conversation. Like I'm glad to meet all of you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like we really talked about because like music is really important. I didn't realize how important it is to us until like now that we talk about it. It's in everything that we do. It's everywhere. So like like you said, monitoring what you listen to and like understanding what you listen to, because you can't not listen to music. Like, it's everywhere. They play it at the malls, they play it in the car. Like, you're gonna hear it everywhere.
There's so much good music. You really give another artist a chance just by dropping somebody. Like, take somebody off that playlist.
Yeah, and add someone new. Like you said, listen to J. Cole. If you play that, they'll start playing recommended songs to those good songs and not the bad songs.
Yes.
Literally. Train your Spotify, train your Apple Music to
play what you like and what's good for you to listen to, because everything you take in is everything you do.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's okay to have that balance, but have that balance. Don't just listen to one thing that's just so much negativity and then you wonder why you're mad all day.
Yeah.
Like, have that balance to where you can listen to some Raw Wave. Now you're sad, but then you go ahead and listen to some. I love Raw Wave. He doesn't make only sad music, but it's like.
But yeah.
Well, thank you all for listening. And it was nice to have you as a guest. And we're YLAG.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.